Hey y'all, it's Jen and welcome back to my channel Ifers Inklings. In this video series, I will be discussing the short stories in the Best American Short Stories 2018 edition as edited by Roxane Gay. Now, as a disclaimer, I just want you to know that I am no expert in literature. I really don't know what I'm doing here, but we're going to dive through this anyway and see what we can learn from the text and from just this experience altogether. Also, this is a discussion video, so it will contain spoilers. So if you are interested in any of these stories but don't want spoilers to them, then be sure and click out of this video, go pick up this book, read the story I'm about to talk about, and come back and discuss it with me in this video. Hey y'all, it's Jen and welcome back to my channel Ifers Inklings. Today I'm doing a short story review out of this collection, the Best American Short Stories 2018 edition, as edited by Roxane Gay. Now this short story is called Unearthed. It is by Alicia Elliott and it is from Grain. Don't know that publication. This story is only about 5 pages long, and I really had a hard time with it. Picking out the themes of this, I think I've actually been thinking about this for a while, and I think that part of these themes would be grief, sibling loss, survivor's guilt, and I don't know how to put it, but just how the sibling that survives is kind of overshadowed by the sibling that died, and how those emotions affect one's life. So like I said, and this is a really, really short story, and I had a hard time struggling. I really struggled with it. We meet, so even before we meet the characters, we get the impression that a body has been found, and they are building something, a fast food restaurant of some kind, I believe, is being built, and they're having to exhume the ground, and when they do that, they find bones. And in this particular case, the bones have been identified as the missing sibling to our main character, Beth. Beth's is the name, and her sibling was Henry. So Beth and Henry are actually Native Americans who are, back in the time, it wasn't good to be Native American. The children, everybody had that perception of, okay, not everybody, the white man had that perception that Native Americans were stupid and ignorant and needed to be institutionalized or needed to be converted and raised by the white man. And so a lot of times the children were taken away and put into institutions. Well, the mothers were, in this story, the mother was tricked, and Henry never made it home. He was there for about 9 months and he never made it home. And when they went looking for him, there was no record of him ever being there. And then, of course, 50 years later, his bones were found. So this is told from Beth's perspective, his older sister, who talks about how their mother never really got over that. She felt a lot of guilt for sending her son away. Her daughter went to the same little, like a boarding school or institution, and for a little while, but Beth came home and Henry never did. They were tortured and mistreated and malnourished, and I think they did experiments on them, and just horrible, horrible conditions. And then his murder was obviously covered up. There is one line in here that kind of talks about it. When Beth was growing up, her mother couldn't let go of Henry's death and really always talked about and compared Beth and Henry. And in it, it says, her mistakes were no more notable than any kid of her age. But now that Henry was gone, he never made any mistakes. His very absence invited imagined mythologies to crystallize into facts. Henry would have been on time. Nope, he was 5. Henry would have eaten his whole plate. He hated everything but sugar. The truth didn't matter. There was no competing with a memory. And that section really struck me as the surviving sibling of that is very true. You can't compete with a memory, and you do get that. My sister was a good person. There is no doubt about that. She had a big heart, and she was just a good person. She was a good daughter. She was a good sister. She was a good mother. But she wasn't perfect. But listening to my family members now talk about her in her death, after her death, it's like, okay, she's perfect. And they don't, and I guess that's the thing, you don't want to remember the negative or the bad parts or the misdeeds of someone that has passed, but to hold them to a different standard than what they were actually like and kind of compare the surviving siblings to them is disheartening. And, you know, it's just something you learn to live with. I'll never be perfect because I'm still alive. I'll never be able to compete with my sister's memory because she's dead and I'm still alive. There is one exchange in here I wanted to also point out that I thought was very good. She is in this town where there is a lot of other people of her tribe. She was from the Mohawk tribe, and even though she has kind of whitewashed her appearance in her speaking and all of that, she still held on to a little bit of her tribe. And so she had an exchange with someone in the grocery store who used a word from their native language, and it said, and she asked about it, and it says, Beth nodded, then turned to leave. When she was at the door, she turned back one more time, her eyes squinting behind her glasses. How did you know I was Mohawk? She shrugged. You've got that tough Mohawk look to you. Beth went stiff. Her insides felt like a painting doused in turpentine. Even though she had had her hair cut and her tongue tamed, even though she had donned pantsuits and pearls and spoke English, as well as either queen she was named for, even though she let people think she was Portuguese or Italian or Greek, even though she had left the scarred memories of her childhood in a dark, unattended corner of her mind, her people still recognized her. It was like they'd been here waiting all this time. And I think that speaks to needing to be around the people that you are like, instead of trying to be something you're not, and that your people will always kind of recognize you. And that having in this sense, a tribe, literally, and in the modern day usage of it, having your tribe around you is cathartic and empowering, and it's nice to not be alone. So that is it. That's all I've got on this short story. If you've read it, I would love to know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Did you pick up on something here? Did you have a different take on it? This short story was, like I said, very short, and it was really hard to really get much out of it. At least it was for me. So yeah, that's it. That's all I've got. So if you enjoyed this review, you know what to do at this point. Be sure and give me a thumbs up. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button over there. I post these, well, I'd say every Sunday, but I'm not quite as good as doing that every Sunday. But I do intend on posting a discussion about every short story in this collection this year. So be sure and hit that bell notification so you can be notified when I post another discussion video. And also be sure and leave me a comment below if you don't have anything related to the story itself or anything I've mentioned in this video. Then just leave me an emoji or simply say hello. That way I can interact with you in my comments. And until next Sunday, I will talk to you later. Bye.